How did you come to decide to run?
Actually, it was something that my wife had talked to me about. My wife, Victoria, is on the Democratic Committee, and she approached me. They were interviewing candidates, and they asked. And it's just something, I love Shelter Island. It's just, wow, what a new chapter for me. I'm 39 years old. My grandparents were summer residents here on Shelter Island. Their house was actually right down the street here on Dinah Rock Road. So my mother was a summer girl. We were from Huntington, Walt Whitman area. The funny stories that I tell is of the 26 kids that I graduated high school with. I think 21 of them I went to preschool with here, and at the time we were the biggest class ever come through Shelter Island. So
what years you graduated?
1990. So it was, and from there I went into the Navy. I wasn't ready, didn't really feel like going to college at the time. I wanted to travel, I wanted to serve my country, and so I did 7 years in the Navy, 3 tours in the Persian Gulf, and lived in Austin, Texas. I was working for Advanced Micro Devices in Austin, and had a great job, had a great life. It just wasn't for me. You know, I love it here, and just on a whim said, you know, I've had enough, and we left, and we came. I came back here, and I've been here since. It was August of '98. Didn't really know what to do, and a dear friend of mine, James Olenkowitz, Jimmy O, as everybody knows him, gave me a call. Said, "Hey, what are you doing? You want to come back to work?" I worked from when I was in high school in the building trades, and I said, "Sure, I'd love to." So off I started swinging a hammer again, and it's manifested now into, I own my own business, Weslek Woodworking Incorporated, and I'm busy. I'm a general contractor. You know, I built.
Some people will probably remember the clerk of the works thing. What was that about? You were hired by the town board to oversee the highway barn,
correct?
Right.
The town hired Sand Pebble Builders as the project overseer. I guess you call them the general contractor of the project. And usually in those big projects, they always have a site supervisor as well as a project manager running the project. And the town, I believe, felt more inclined to have someone of their own there, their own set of eyes. And I think that had a little bit to do with fiscal as well, you know, because it's not cheap. My wife Victoria and I were married that September, and my father had passed away in October, and then her father Alan had passed away in December, and it was a tough time, and I wasn't really giving the project the focus that it needed. And I chose, you know, just for the good of Shelter Island, I just wasn't, you know, I didn't feel comfortable doing it anymore. And you know, at the time, I feel to some extent, you know, that my generation is becoming lost here. Not that people haven't tried, not that people aren't trying to make it a place that we all can stay and live. You know?
In terms of jobs and housing?
Jobs and housing and economic growth, you know, it seems, you know, it's almost to the point where if you don't build homes or work on the ferry, work for the town, or cut grass, what are you doing here? You're commuting off island to work. You're trying to stay here. And it's a struggle because, you know, we are populated by a lot of second homeowners who are all wonderful people. The ones that I know they're wonderful people, and they've kept me employed, you know, but it's difficult. And that is a huge focal point for me. Growth. You know, growth, and it's not just growth for me, but it's willing and being able to allow the seniors that are on fixed incomes to stay here. You know, to help them out. I don't think affordable housing is dead. It seems to be dead. You know, it seems to peak and fall and peak and fall. And I think, you know, interest gets lost. You know, and I want to spark that interest again. I think the board is generally doing a good job.
Do you see any failures on the board's part over recent years?
None that really come to mind. I'm sure if I dug back and went back, there might be some failures. People make mistakes. You know, preservation, the causeways seems to be today's hot topic. Will it get done? They're saying the spring. the startup of it. You know, I'm not 100% familiar with what's going on right this second. No, I don't think it should be built. You know, it's been that way forever.
Did you follow any of the, you know, heat and storm over the non-conforming use, rewriting the code to try to clarify pre-existing non-conforming uses?
I've followed it a little bit. You know, I've heard the uproar about it. You know, most of Shelter Island is pre-existing non-conforming. Most of these businesses are the heart and soul of Shelter Island. You know, I'm not quite sure. You know, I'm not quite sure.
Yeah, they're still working on that. And the last question for you: why should people vote for you?
I think people should vote for me because I represent the voice of the new, call it. You know, the voice of the young, the voice of the old, and the voice of everybody in between. You know, to revitalize issues and stances and things that we need to work on here to evolve into where the country is, to where we're not always going to be the little sheltered island that everyone wants from 40 years ago. It's not there, and there's tough issues at hand, and there's tough stances that have to be made, and we just have to move with it.
Okay, Ian, thanks very much.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.